If you are over 50 and you feel your legs getting weaker, stiffer, or less stable, I want you to listen carefully. Most people believe the only way to build strong legs is intense exercise, squats, lunges, gym workouts, but for many adults after 50, that advice is incomplete and sometimes even risky. Here's the truth. Muscle weakness after 50 is not caused by age alone. It's caused by how often your leg muscles are activated throughout the day. Long periods of sitting quietly shut down the communication between your brain and your leg muscles. Over time, the muscles don't just shrink, they forget how to work efficiently. Now, here's the simple habit that beats traditional exercise for many people. Frequent, gentle, weight-bearing movement spread across the day. I'm not talking about a workout. I'm talking about something much simpler. Standing up and walking for 2 to 3 minutes every 30 to 60 minutes. This small habit reawakens the large muscles of the thighs, hips, and calves. It improves blood flow, restores nerve signaling, and tells your body, these muscles are still needed. Doctors see this work especially well in people over 50 because recovery is easier and joint stress is minimal. In my practice, I've seen patients who couldn't climb stairs regain strength, not by exercising harder, but by moving more often. Now let's talk about why this simple habit works better than traditional exercise for many people over 50. As we age, our bodies don't respond to stress the same way they did at 30 or 40. Long, intense workouts create inflammation. They demand long recovery times. And for older joints, knees, hips, ankles, that stress can actually slow progress or cause people to quit altogether. But frequent light movement works on a completely different system, your nervous system. Every time you stand up and take a few steps, your brain sends signals to your leg muscles. These signals keep the muscle fibers awake. When you sit for long hours, those signals fade. The muscles don't just weaken, they lose coordination, balance, and reaction speed. This is why many people over 50 say, I feel unstable, even if they aren't technically weak. Here's something most people don't realize. Your legs are designed for repetition, not exhaustion. Walking for a few minutes many times a day improves circulation to the leg muscles, delivers oxygen and nutrients more efficiently, reduces stiffness in the joints, strengthens the muscles that protect your knees and hips, and most importantly, it lowers the risk of falls. I've had patients tell me, Doctor, I walk every morning for 40 minutes, but my legs still feel weak. When we looked closer, they were sitting for the remaining 10 to 12 hours of the day. One workout cannot undo that much inactivity. When we changed one habit, standing and walking briefly every hour, the difference was noticeable within weeks. Better balance, less heaviness in the legs, more confidence when walking or standing up from a chair. This is not about replacing exercise, it's about outsmarting age-related muscle loss. Now let me show you exactly how to apply this habit safely and effectively, because doing it the right way is what makes the difference between real leg strength and wasted effort, especially after 50. First, the rule is simple. Never wait until you feel stiff or tired to move. By the time stiffness appears, your muscles have already been inactive for too long. Instead, set a mental or phone reminder to stand up every 30 to 60 minutes. When you stand, don't rush. Place both feet flat on the ground, push through your heels, and stand tall. This activates the large muscles in your thighs and hips immediately. Once you're standing, walk slowly for 2 to 5 minutes. This can be around your home, down a hallway, or even in place. The goal is not speed. The goal is activation. Let your arms swing naturally. Keep your chest up. Take relaxed steps. This gentle movement wakes up the calves, strengthens the stabilizing muscles around the knees, and improves hip control. 3 areas that weaken fastest with age. Here's an important detail many people overlook. How you sit matters just as much as how you stand. Avoid deep, soft chairs that sink you down. These make your legs work less and weaken them over time. Choose a chair that allows your hips to be slightly higher than your knees. This position keeps your leg muscles lightly engaged, even while sitting. Now let me warn you about the most common mistake I see. People think, if a little is good, more must be better. So they suddenly start walking too much, too fast, or without rest. That can irritate joints and discourage consistency. Remember, the power of this habit is frequency, not intensity. If you already exercise, keep doing it. But do not skip this daily movement. And if you don't exercise at all, this habit alone can still improve leg strength, balance, and confidence over time. Many of my patients notice changes within 2 to 3 weeks. Standing up feels easier, walking feels lighter, and stairs become less intimidating. That's not because their muscles suddenly grew, it's because their muscles remembered how to work together again. In the next part, I'll explain who benefits the most from this habit, and how people in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s can safely use it to stay strong and independent. Now let's talk about who benefits the most from this habit, because this is where it becomes truly powerful, especially for people who think it might already be too late. In my experience, the greatest improvements happen in people over 60, 70, and even 80. Why? Because their muscles are not destroyed. They are underused. Age does not erase muscle. Inactivity does. And the human body, even later in life, responds remarkably well when you give it the right signal. This habit is especially effective for people who feel heaviness or weakness in the legs, struggle with balance or fear falling, have knee or hip discomfort that limits exercise, get tired quickly when standing or walking, spend long hours sitting during the day. What makes this approach different is safety. Traditional strength training often places high load on joints and tendons, but short, frequent movement keeps pressure low while still stimulating the muscles. This is why even patients with arthritis or joint stiffness often tolerate it well, sometimes better than formal exercise. I want to address something important. Many people believe leg weakness is inevitable with age, so they move less, sit more, and unknowingly speed up the very decline they fear. This habit breaks that cycle. Each time you stand and walk, you send a message to your body. I still need strong legs. Another hidden benefit is confidence. When your legs feel more responsive, your posture improves. You stand taller. You walk more steadily. This reduces the fear of falling, which is one of the biggest reasons older adults stop moving altogether. I've seen patients who avoided stairs begin using them again. Others who needed support to stand up start rising from chairs with ease. These are not dramatic gym transformations, but they are life-changing improvements in independence. Consistency is the key, not perfection, not intensity, just showing up for your legs throughout the day. In the next part, I'll explain how to combine this habit with one simple daily action that multiplies its effects and helps protect your legs for the long term. To strengthen the effect of this habit, there is one simple daily action that significantly amplifies results when combined with frequent movement: proper hydration timed with movement. After 50, leg muscles often feel weak not only because of inactivity, but because muscle tissue becomes less efficient at holding water. Dehydrated muscles fatigue faster, lose elasticity, and respond more slowly to nerve signals. This creates the sensation of heaviness, tightness, and instability in the legs. Clinical observation shows that when light movement is paired with regular water intake throughout the day, muscle responsiveness improves. blood becomes easier to circulate. Oxygen delivery increases. Waste products clear more efficiently from the muscles of the thighs and calves. The legs feel lighter, not because of increased strength alone, but because muscle tissue begins functioning as designed. The most effective approach is small amounts of water consumed consistently, not large amounts all at once. When hydration supports frequent standing and walking, the muscles remain pliable and ready to activate. This combination reduces stiffness in the knees and ankles and improves the natural shock absorption of the legs during walking. Another important factor is posture during movement. Upright posture with relaxed shoulders allows the hips to extend fully. This engages the gluteal muscles, which play a critical role in stabilizing the legs. When these muscles are activated regularly, strain on the knees decreases and walking becomes more efficient. Over time, this daily pattern, short movement, proper posture, and steady hydration, creates a protective effect. Muscles stay engaged. Joints remain nourished. Balance systems stay active. This is why individuals who follow this routine often maintain mobility and independence far longer than expected for their age group. In the next part, the focus will shift to the long-term results of this habit and what changes are commonly observed after several months of consistency. When this habit is practiced consistently over several months, the changes observed in the legs follow a predictable pattern. The first improvement is not strength, but control. Movements become smoother. Standing up requires less effort. The legs respond faster to shifts in balance, reducing hesitation and instability. As neuromuscular communication improves, muscle fibers begin to activate more efficiently. This means everyday actions, walking, climbing stairs, turning, or stepping over obstacles, require less energy. Fatigue decreases, not because the muscles are larger, but because they are working together instead of against each other. Joint health also improves over time. Regular, low-impact movement increases the circulation of synovial fluid, which lubricates the knees, hips, and ankles. With better joint lubrication, stiffness becomes less frequent, especially in the morning or after long periods of sitting. This effect is particularly important for adults over 50, when joint surfaces are more sensitive to inactivity. Balance improvements are another key long-term result. The small, stabilizing muscles in the feet, ankles, and hips remain active throughout the day. These muscles are rarely trained during traditional exercise, but play a critical role in preventing falls. Consistent activation keeps the body's balance system alert and responsive. Perhaps the most significant change is psychological. As leg function improves, fear of movement decreases. Confidence returns. People naturally begin to move more, which reinforces the cycle of strength and stability. This self-sustaining pattern is why simple daily habits often outperform structured exercise programs in long-term adherence and results. With continued consistency, this approach supports leg strength, mobility, and independence well into later decades of life. As this habit becomes part of daily life, its influence extends beyond muscle and joint function and begins to affect the body as a whole. The legs are not isolated structures, they are deeply connected to circulation, metabolism, and overall stability. When the legs are activated regularly throughout the day, the entire system benefits. One of the most important long-term effects is improved blood return from the lower body. After 50, circulation in the legs naturally slows, especially during prolonged sitting. This can contribute to swelling in the ankles, cold feet, and a heavy sensation in the lower limbs. Frequent standing and walking stimulate the calf muscles, which act as a natural pump, assisting blood flow back toward the heart. Over time, this reduces pooling of blood and supports healthier vascular function. Another change occurs in bone health. Weight-bearing movement, even at low intensity, sends signals to the bones of the legs and hips. These signals help maintain bone density by encouraging ongoing remodeling. While this habit is not a replacement for medical treatment, consistent daily loading plays a supportive role in keeping bones resilient, particularly in the hips and femur, where age-related loss can have serious consequences. Metabolic efficiency also improves. Regular muscle activation increases glucose uptake by the leg muscles, helping stabilize blood sugar levels. This is especially relevant for adults over 50, as insulin sensitivity often declines with age. Gentle, repeated movement throughout the day can support healthier energy regulation without placing stress on the body. There is also a noticeable improvement in walking mechanics. Stride length becomes more natural, foot placement more confident, and transitions between steps smoother. These subtle changes reduce unnecessary strain on the knees and lower back. Walking begins to feel less like a task and more like a natural, effortless motion. Over time, these physiological changes create a foundation for sustained mobility. The legs remain engaged, responsive, and capable of supporting daily life without constant discomfort or fear of instability. This is why individuals who adopt this habit often maintain independence longer and experience fewer mobility-related limitations as they age. In the next part, attention will turn to common misconceptions that prevent people over 50 from benefiting fully from this approach and how to avoid them. Despite the simplicity of this habit, many adults over 50 fail to experience its full benefits because of several common misconceptions. These misunderstandings often lead people to abandon the habit too early or apply it incorrectly, limiting its long-term impact on leg strength and stability. One of the most frequent misconceptions is the belief that movement only counts if it causes fatigue or sweating. In reality, the goal of this approach is not exhaustion, but activation. When muscles are activated repeatedly throughout the day, they maintain responsiveness and coordination. Waiting for a workout-level effort misses the point entirely. Gentle, consistent movement is what preserves function in aging muscles. Another misunderstanding is the idea that pain is a necessary sign of progress. After 50, pain often signals excessive strain rather than adaptation. This habit is designed to work below the pain threshold. Mild warmth or light fatigue is acceptable, but discomfort in the joints or sharp muscle pain indicates that movement should be slowed or shortened. Progress comes from regularity, not pushing through pain. Some individuals assume that if they already walk once a day, additional movement is unnecessary. However, a single daily walk cannot offset many hours of uninterrupted sitting. Long periods of inactivity interrupt blood flow, reduce nerve signaling, and allow stiffness to return. The effectiveness of this habit lies in breaking up sitting time, not replacing structured exercise sessions. There is also a tendency to underestimate the importance of consistency. Skipping movement for several hours and then attempting to compensate later in the day does not provide the same benefit. The body responds best to steady, predictable signals. Short movement intervals spread evenly across the day maintain muscle engagement more effectively than sporadic activity. Finally, some people believe this habit is too simple to make a real difference. This belief often comes from years of being told that aging requires aggressive interventions. In reality, the body adapts to what it experiences most often. For many adults over 50, that experience has been prolonged sitting. Changing that single pattern can lead to meaningful improvements in leg function. Understanding and avoiding these misconceptions allows this habit to work as intended, quietly, safely, and effectively, supporting leg strength, balance, and mobility over time. In the next part, The focus will shift to how this approach fits into daily routines and real-life situations without disruption. For this habit to produce lasting results, it must fit naturally into daily life. The most successful individuals are not those who plan their entire day around movement, but those who attach movement to routines that already exist. This approach reduces mental effort and increases consistency, which is essential after 50. One effective strategy is to link short movement periods to everyday triggers. Standing and walking can follow common activities such as finishing a phone call, watching a television segment, using the restroom, or completing a household task. These moments already mark transitions in the day, making them ideal opportunities to re-engage the legs without conscious planning. In work or home environments where sitting is unavoidable, small adjustments can make a significant difference. Placing commonly used items slightly farther away encourages standing. Using a timer or alarm at regular intervals serves as a neutral reminder to move without creating pressure or disruption. Even a brief walk to another room and back is sufficient to reactivate the muscles. This habit also adapts well to different physical abilities. For individuals with limited mobility, movement may consist of standing beside a chair, shifting weight from one leg to the other, or taking a few supported steps. The principle remains the same: frequent activation. The body responds to effort relative to its current capacity, not to a fixed standard. Social settings do not need to interfere with this routine. Standing while talking, walking during conversations, or choosing to move during breaks helps maintain consistency without drawing attention. Over time, these behaviors become automatic and no longer feel like deliberate actions. Seasonal changes, travel, and temporary disruptions can challenge routines, but this habit remains flexible. It requires no equipment, no specific location, and no preparation. This adaptability is what allows it to persist when structured exercise routines often fail. When integrated smoothly into daily life, frequent movement becomes a background behavior rather than a task. This steady presence is what supports long-term leg function, reduces decline, and preserves independence well beyond the age of 50. In the final part, the focus will be on how to maintain motivation over time and recognize meaningful progress without relying on traditional fitness metrics. As this habit continues over time, it becomes important to understand how progress presents itself, because improvement after 50 does not always look dramatic or sudden. In most cases, the changes are subtle, gradual, and easy to overlook unless attention is paid to daily function rather than performance. One of the earliest signs of progress is reduced hesitation. Standing up feels more automatic. The body transitions from sitting to standing with less conscious effort. Movements that once required preparation begin to happen smoothly. These are indicators that the communication between the brain and leg muscles is strengthening. Another sign is increased endurance during ordinary activities. Walking through a store, standing while preparing meals, or moving around the home requires less rest. Fatigue appears later, and recovery happens faster. This reflects improved muscle efficiency rather than increased muscle size. Sleep quality may also improve indirectly. Regular daytime movement helps regulate circulation and reduces lingering tension in the legs, making it easier for the body to relax at night. Morning stiffness often decreases as well, especially when movement has been consistent the day before. It is important to note that progress is not always linear. Some days may feel easier than others. Temporary stiffness or fatigue does not indicate failure. It often reflects normal fluctuations in hydration, sleep, or daily activity. The key is to maintain the habit without reacting emotionally to short-term changes. Many individuals make the mistake of increasing intensity prematurely once they notice improvement. While gradual progression is appropriate, The foundation of this approach remains frequent, low-impact movement. Preserving consistency protects joints and ensures long-term benefits. By focusing on daily function rather than comparison or measurement, this habit continues to support leg strength, stability, and confidence over time. In the following part, attention will turn to how environmental factors, such as footwear, flooring, and home setup, can either support or undermine these gains. As leg function improves through consistent daily movement, environmental factors begin to play a much larger role than many people realize. After 50, the legs become more sensitive to their surroundings, and small external influences can either support continued progress or quietly work against it. Footwear is one of the most overlooked factors. Shoes that are too soft, overly cushioned, or unstable reduce feedback from the ground. This weakens the small, stabilizing muscles in the feet and ankles that are essential for balance. Supportive, well-fitted shoes with a firm sole allow the foot to sense the surface beneath it, improving coordination and reducing unnecessary strain on the knees and hips. Inside the home, walking barefoot or in thin-soled footwear can be beneficial if balance is adequate and surfaces are safe. Flooring also matters. Slippery or uneven surfaces force the body into protective patterns that limit natural movement. Over time, this can lead to cautious, shortened steps and reduced hip engagement. Ensuring that commonly used walking paths are clear, dry, and stable allows the legs to move confidently and fully during daily activity. The height of furniture plays a critical role as well. Chairs and sofas that are too low increase strain on the knees and discourage frequent standing. When standing up becomes difficult, people naturally avoid it. Seating that allows the hips to remain slightly higher than the knees supports easier transitions and reinforces proper leg activation. Lighting is another subtle but important factor. Poor visibility increases hesitation and alters walking mechanics, especially in the evening. Adequate lighting supports confident movement and reduces unnecessary tension in the legs caused by fear of missteps. Even temperature affects leg function. Cold environments can increase muscle stiffness and joint discomfort, reducing willingness to move. Keeping the legs warm helps maintain flexibility and responsiveness, particularly in the morning and during extended periods of inactivity. By adjusting these environmental elements, the body is supported rather than challenged unnecessarily.